Welcome, Tutor Coaches. My name is Barbara Delaney, and I am the Assistant Tutor Coach. This is the first webinar you will facilitate with your tutors in this recording, I'd like to highlight tips and supports to help you with a successful facilitation. Deliver this webinar in an in-person tutor training session and move through each slide, introducing topics and pausing to answer questions. Your tutors may feel overwhelmed with the amount of training material. Assure tutors that this training will take place over the course of 6 to 8 weeks, depending on your school schedule, and we'll talk about the syllabus later on. The training materials have a great deal of support, and you will work together to grow this tutor program. So read through the objectives of the orientation and see if there are any questions about this. And then spark a little discussion. Share your thoughts. What does it mean to be a tutor? Listen to each other, allow for space for discussion, and then read through the slide and assure tutors that you will be guiding them in developing these skills if they have questions or doubts about this. The assessments program. So here is a definition of who has built the assessment program. And there's also a link here for a link to our site that shows some of our research and evidence on the impact of using assessments. This is helpful when introducing a new platform to teachers or tutors, that they can see that there is research to back the use of this product. Here's an overview of how tutors and students use assessments in the classroom. The tutors will be using assessments to support their tutoring session. This is a 2 minutes and 51-second video that you can play right from this screen for your tutors, and it just gives them a quick overview of assessments for teachers. I will not be playing that in today's session and wasting time. Assessments is an online formative assessment tool. Read through this slide and ask if anyone is familiar with assessments and ask them to share their experience. Here is a tutor program overview. Read through the slide and mention to the tutors that as tutors, they will use assessments similar to how teachers use it. However, they will be tutoring on prerequisite skills rather than the grade level skills. I stress that you say this in your presentation because the number one misunderstanding tutors have when they start this program is that they think that they're tutoring on what is being taught in the class. So they are assuming they're taking the small group aside and helping them on classwork. And that is not what this program is. This program is aligned to prerequisites, which are the 1 or 2 grade levels below the grade level standard. It might not look like what's happening in the classroom, but it supports the success of what's happening in the classroom. And here is a program overview. Read through the slide about the key steps in tutoring, and then talk a little bit about personalized tutoring and the value of it. And here's a slide talking about the assessment teacher and the assessment tutor. And you can see there's a lot of similarities and some differences. And now for the training materials, which are found on our Tutor Academy website. This next slide is a video that gives you an overview of the Tutor Academy website. This video that's played here, that's a 2-minute video, is also found at the top of the Tutor Academy webpage. And we won't be playing that here to save time. These are the topics that are covered on the Academy. This orientation is also provided there for anyone who goes to our Academy because it's an open source. Tutor training syllabus, the 4 asynchronous main modules, mini modules, essential tutor resources, and quick guides. The tutor syllabus found on the top of the web page provides a nice overview. I just put a note on this slide for you that you may find the syllabus does not fit your school schedule. Feel free to download a copy and edit the schedule to suit the needs of your school. Change the slide to share your copy and let your tutors know the one on the web page is not the same as your schedule. At this point, you may want to share the link with your tutors so they can also go and look at the things that you're outlining on these slides actually on the web page. So there are 4 modules that outline the tutoring cycle. They are asynchronous, meaning that they will be doing them by themselves, tutors, but you will come together every few weeks to talk about these modules. We also have mini modules that come underneath each main module. Mini modules are there to deepen understanding of tutoring skills. They do not have to be completed during initial module training. Tutors can return to these brief topic-specific modules as needed. Also found on the website are essential documents and quick guides. The essential documents are in view-only format, but tutors can download them as many times as they'd like and make their own copy in a Google Drive folder. The quick guides are exactly that. They are a bunch of documents on anything that is step 1, step 2, step 3 to execute something. Tutors can just quickly reference them on the web page to review a process, or they can print them as a reference tool if they forget how to do something, and they're there to be used as needed. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the tutoring cycle itself. Here is a visual of the tutoring cycle, and I'd like you to note that diagnose stands outside of the circle, and that's because the diagnostic only happens once a cycle. And we refer to a cycle as the group of prerequisites that are tutored in a particular domain or strand. So a diagnostic is done on that domain or strand, and then the tutors refer to the results of that diagnostic to plan, deliver, and monitor and go through all the prerequisites that apply to those standards. And here is a little bit more explanation on each step of the tutoring cycle. And here is how the tutoring cycle looks on our platform. So diagnose, it's all embedded, the diagnostic, everything is embedded right in our platform. When they plan, they're looking at data. When they deliver, they're using practice problems on our site. And when they monitor and adjust, they're using a check for understanding on our site. The tutoring, there's a tutoring session guide and a session planner that tutors will be using to plan. I strongly recommend you have them download both and use them at least for the first few months until they're very comfortable with their planning of the session. Once they get into a routine, some tutors like to use their own planning documents, but our planning document guides you through each step. And those are all downloadable in the resources on the Academy webpage. And so now you're going to have your tutors pause and create an assessment account. At this point, you will want to share this outline steps for creating an assessment account link with them. And it is actually a step-by-step quick guide of how to create an account. And the only thing you want to stress is the teachers use their school email. It's important they use the email that matches their Google Classroom because our platform is interfaced with Google Classroom. And so if the emails don't match, then it won't work for the tutor. Now is a good time to pause and walk around, help people. Please create your own account before you do this webinar so that you're very familiar with the process. We also have this next slide in creating a Google Classroom tutorial in case you are not familiar with Google Classroom. As a school, there's a tutorial here on how to do that. And then we also have another guide here. If you are a Canvas school, there's a tutorial on how to do that and the steps that you have to do to embed assessments in your Canvas account. All documents are going to be saved to your Google Drive. As I said, our essential documents are in view only. So you're going to want tutors to make their own copies and file them into their own Google Drive. There is a quick guide on this slide. And there's also a link to how to make a Google account. If your school is not a Google school, you're a Microsoft school, your teachers will need to take their school email to create a Google account. And they cannot use their Gmail if they have a personal Gmail, which is a Google account, because that will not match their Google Classroom. They need to have a Google account with their school email, and then that will all make everything work. And so there's a link here on how to go about doing that also. So you'll be prompted to make copies of essential documents as you move through the asynchronous modules. You might want to stop right now after everybody's done all of this and have everyone open the Tutor Academy webpage and choose one of the documents for everybody to download and make their own copy in the Google Drive. So what's next? Everything you need for tutor training is located on the Tutor Academy website. Here's the link to the website where you'll learn about everything. Be sure to make a copy of the slide deck for your tutors without the speaker notes and share copies with the tutors for their own reference. That way they have all the links that you're referring to in this orientation and they don't have any need to take notes on the things you're telling them. What's next for your tutors? They're ready to begin their tutor training. You're going to have them complete modules 1 and 2 as outlined in our syllabus, meaning your syllabus, by the next in-person webinar training, and you'll have scheduled that date and time. Now, I have one caveat here. The syllabus that you share with them can either be the one that is on our webpage, or if you have adjusted the schedule, then it should be the link to your syllabus, and remind them that the one on the webpage is not the same syllabus. And now it's time for questions and comments. Again, as a coach, if you have any questions for me, my name is Barbara Delaney, and there's my email right there. Feel free to email me with any questions. And if you are in need of some kind of support of some kind, we can get you that support. Take time to answer the questions and reassure your tutors that this looks overwhelming, but it will not be, because we're rolling it out slowly and we're learning all together, and you're here to support them. Thank you for your time, coaches.